HomeTech Podcast for Friday the 13th. From Sarasota, Florida, I'm Seth Johnson.
From Reynoldsburg, Ohio, I'm TJ Huddleston.
And from Pickering, Ontario, I'm Gavin Campbell.
And welcome to the HomeTech Podcast, a podcast all about home automation, home technology, and happy Thanksgiving, Gavin. Yay.
Yay, thank you. It was last week. We had a long weekend, so really enjoyed it. I feel refreshed.
So much. It's weird to say that because our Thanksgiving's not until
November.
Next month. Yeah, and into next month, too.
We celebrate that, too.
I'm jealous.
Yeah. Well, you guys get the good sales around yours.
Well, I'm less worried about the sales and more thinking about the food. Like, can we double up on the food? Like, if we celebrate Canadian Thanksgiving? Like,
sure. I'll send you down something.
Yeah, that seems like the most appropriate thing.
I guess that makes up for it if we're getting like the best sales and stuff, though, right? I mean, we have Prime Day going on right now. So do you have Prime Day going on in Canada, Gavin?
Yeah, we get that Prime Day thing too. You guys get better deals than us, though.
Well, yeah, that's typical.
Yeah.
Our stuff costs like half the price, so.
You guys found any Prime Day deals?
No,
I honestly forgot about it until I saw some news articles about it today, and I was like, oh yeah, that is today. But I've been seeing some posts about some jacked up pricing, which Amazon would never do, so.
Never,
no.
There was a post about a laptop that was listed as $1,200 yesterday, and then today it's all of a sudden $300. But it was also $300 a couple weeks ago. So
yeah, they're very shady. And you know, if you create a wish list on Amazon, then what you do is you get tied into Camel and have it notify you every time a product in that list drops below a certain price or is on an all-time low. And just looking at the stuff I had in my wish list, yeah, looks like they raised prices and then lowered them to say that, they're on deals. So if you watch the deals all year long, this is no special day.
Yeah. I'm looking. Well, you even when you find something that's a Prime deal, it's always a good idea to go over and run it through the Camel and see what it says. Because sometimes they tinker with the price and you can see like, oh, usually during this time of year, it's a cheaper price. So I'll just wait or whatever if you don't need it or something. Especially with these garage sales that they like to do. And Gavin, I have to thank you because you were like, hey, do this. And I was like, oh, yeah, I've heard about that. And I never did it. And now I do. Oh, purple light bulbs. I was thinking about doing that outside.
Just purple light bulbs?
Yeah, for like porch lights or something like that. During Halloween,
you could just get smart bulbs and change.
You can use them all year long.
This gets back to my Hue debacle. I have them. I don't know what I did with them. So I seem to have lost my Hue bulbs. I do have the Ketra bulbs. I don't know how I feel about putting that outside in the weather. It's kind of an expensive bulb, but they work great inside. But I did hook up the old Ketra hub thing, and they still work. I can still change colors on them. Maybe I'll do that. It's a very expensive outdoor light in a rusty fixture if I do end up doing that. So we'll see.
One thing I am going to drop some money on is the meter block. So those are the little thermometers that you kind of, when you're cooking, you can use them in the oven. I use them on the barbecue and, they kind of let you remotely monitor your meat. So I'm grabbing a block of those. I'm grabbing the 4-pack. And the key thing is if you're going to get the Meter Plus because it has like a Bluetooth repeater and Wi-Fi connector built into the block itself. So you don't have to stand by the barbecue. But yeah, that's a significant sale that I found.
Does the meter repeater repeat more than 1 meter?
Yes. No. Yes. Maybe. Yes.
So if you get the 4-pack and you put those out in the barbecue grill on, I don't know, whatever you're cooking, that you need 4 of them, like it repeats all 4 of those signals, I guess.
Yeah. It'll repeat. Okay. It's a repeater for all your meters in your meat.
So if I get the Meter Plus and then later on I get one more just by itself, will that one get repeated as well?
Ooh.
That's what my thought is.
Oh, man, email the company.
Gavin just likes the product. He's not a spokesperson.
Yeah, I know. I just like the product.
I didn't know if you tried this or not. So
no, I haven't tried this. But if I do get the 4 block and I have my 1, then I don't know if it supports more than 4 though.
Well, if anybody knows out there, if you can use the meter repeaters to repeat more than 1 meter, just let us know. I mean,
you just wanted to say that.
Feedback.
More than 4, I guess, right? Or like, what's the most supported meters that you can repeat?
Yeah, how many meters can you repeat using the meter repeater.
Meter, if you're listening to this, please let us know.
Yeah, and sponsor this episode, I guess. I don't know.
Nah, that was the only thing I saw so far. And granted, I haven't been looking very long for the Amazon sales, but I definitely want
for the last
meter.
5 minutes you were looking.
Yeah, well, I've stumbled across projector screens and meters. So, but I'm on a ban right now. I'm not allowed to buy myself anything, so I'll get that for Christmas. Whisper, whisper.
There we go. Santa will bring it to you.
That's right.
All right. Well, we've got a couple of HomeTech headlines this week, and a couple of new products have slipped across the finish line here towards the end of the year, right in time for the holidays. So, what do you say we jump into these HomeTech headlines?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, Ring has announced a $1 million bounty for anyone who can provide concrete evidence of extraterrestrial activity. That's right. The company has announced a bounty which runs until December 31st that encourages users to submit video footage that clearly captures aliens or UFOs. And the company will reward the winning submission with a cash prize of $1 million. I'm tempted to say, let's match them. Let's just match them. If you win this, we'll give you $1 million. I don't know where it's going to come from, but whatever.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, bankrupt the podcast, Seth.
For the record, Seth said that, not me.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not.
I don't know if I can help you out there, buddy.
Good luck.
But they also have a smaller prize, too, for cutest outfit or cutest alien or something like that, too, right? I think they're offering a smaller...
It's like most creative video as well.
Yeah.
It's like $500 gift card.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see what people submit for this.
Well, it's got to be better than the alien footage from Mexico that came out, a couple weeks ago? Did anybody pay attention to that?
Oh, yeah, it was kind of weird. Like, we have had all these, like, congressional things that are like, oh, the aliens are real, they're among us. And then everybody's like, Prime Day. Hey, it's like, I don't know what to think about any of this. Like, should we be worried?
We easily get distracted.
That one specifically, the guy was proven wrong. It was like 6 or 7 years ago or something, and found to have been faking evidence. So I'm going to go on a limb and say he was probably faking evidence this time too.
There's one rule: it's never aliens. That's pretty much it.
But it thinks he can't submit this contest though because it's only America. So.
So he's going to get his little concrete aliens to walk by or whatever they were. I don't know what they were like paper mache or something. They could have been.
Yeah, they looked pretty awful.
So basically, if the alien landed in Canada, we can't submit it?
No, this is only for the U.S. Only U.S. aliens.
Oh.
You can submit it. You just won't get $1 million.
Well, in that case, I'm going to keep it a secret.
By submit it, I mean post it on Mastodon.
Nobody follows me there.
Well, if you do have any concrete proof of alien activity or UFOs, like let Ring know, because you could get $1 million if you recorded it on your doorbell camera. Yeah, there you go. It's a cute contest, and good for PR and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I was to say good publicity on that one. So
yeah, exactly.
We don't just give your camera footage to the police. We're also looking for aliens.
Oh, that's too good. All right, let's move on here. Honda and Acura have partnered with Chamberlain Group's MyQ connected garage service to allow users to control their smart garage doors through the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The feature will be available for all 2023 and 2024 models, as well as other models that support Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Sounds like a good thing, I guess. It's kind of strange that it's only rolling out for like Honda and Acura, which is, I guess, mostly the same car company, but it's like interesting, I guess. Somebody made a deal there to get the MyQ service hooked up. Gavin, you going to hook this up and get MyQ running? Are you going to have to buy a new garage door opener to get MyQ?
I'm going to have to buy a new car just to get this going. I don't think I'm going to spend the money on the car. My newest car was like the year before they put CarPlay into it, and
that's the worst, isn't it?
It is bad, but when you looked at the price difference, it was significantly different, so I just couldn't justify getting the CarPlay. But there's also in the article they mentioned that later on it may be free at first, but then there's a subscription, right? So that's where they're going with this. They're trying to add a subscription to this MyQ thing, and I wonder if they'll ever win with this, because they've tried it before and I don't think it really worked out well for them.
I do not understand Chamberlain or whoever is running the business unit that is responsible for MyQ. They have made literally, like, they have a literal monopoly over every garage door opener here in America. Like, LiftMaster Chamberlain, I can't think of a garage door. Like there are just so many different brands that they operate under, and it has MyQ built in or whatever. And I would say like 90% of the ones I ran across that were installed, maybe 100% of the garage door lift openers that I ran across in my career were made by this company and had the stupid MyQ thing that we couldn't integrate with, and had the stupid keypads that were not like the contact closure type, but instead they would use this, RF signal from them. So like they have a monopoly, like, and they're just like, they have no desire to be customer friendly with what they're doing with this crazy subscription thing for what? Like, it's opening and closing your garage door. It's not like, if you told me that it was going to be a 5-year subscription at $179, I'd be like, I'll find another way. And even at that, it's just not worth it. I have no idea. Like, it's just not, I'm not that interested in how. I'll find another way. Let's just put it that way. I would find another way. I'd change out my garage door opener before I did that.
Like, you can find another way that will work out cheaper than what they're trying to, their subscription service is. Like, it's ridiculous. For me, I actually soldered a relay onto the actual remotes.
Yep.
To bypass all that encryption and stuff like that. And it works flawlessly. And the nice part about it is I actually have the whole setup sitting in my basement. So it controls the garage from down there. I don't leave it in the garage. It's not in the cold. And it works perfectly, like it actually worked better than the MyQ did. So that is the one reason I tried MyQ before. I got so fed up of, constantly dealing with it breaking and, all that stuff. So I switched over and I haven't had to deal with my garage door since. It just works.
That's funny you say that, Gavin, because that's also what professionals do in the field. Every time that I had a garage door opener and we needed to control it, we always soldered a relay onto it, and that's how we controlled it. And the battery life on them, it's so good, it's really not a problem longevity-wise. So as long as you put it in a decent spot, it can reach it and everything, then you don't have a problem.
Man, I feel like a pro. I came up with that one myself.
Man.
I'm in the wrong field.
You should start a new company.
And there's a little company called Garage It that actually for like $30 or $20, if you have the MyQ, they just ship the thing to you pre-soldered, and I've used them a number of times, and it's all you can do, because it's so dumb that this stuff doesn't come with some kind of like contact closure anymore. I mean, they basically took that off of their garage door openers, said, no, you have to use our proprietary buttons, and then, or you can pay us some money to open and close it using the MyQ service that we don't offer an API to anybody for. And the integrations that they do have quickly get shut down because, everybody uses the same ID or something. And they're like, oh, looks like there's a few million people opening and closing their garage door. It's not even a million. It's a few thousand people opening and closing from this one API endpoint. Well, let's kill that off. And they always go in and mess it all up. So I don't know. I've never... Don't support this company. Don't give them money. Don't give them subscription. They're garbage. Just build into the price of the equipment, or make a subscription to open and close your garage door. Are you kidding me? Come on, that's ridiculous. I know the servers cost money, but I know here's what doesn't cost money: putting contact closures back on your garage door openers. That would be great, because I don't need a subscription to know if my garage door is open or closed.
How do you feel about it, Seth?
I don't like them. I don't like them. I do know for a fact, and this is one funny story I heard, that like there's a company, let's just say it starts maybe with the C and ends in a 4, and like they like, we had integration with MyQ through a third party driver for a long time, and I guess at some point they started talking to them internally, and like, well, the hack stuff all got shut down basically, and you can't. There's no more hack driver. And it's hilarious because on every single Control4 forum, somebody will post, hey, is there integration for MyQ? That's what everybody expects. Like, yeah, nope. You should be able to say, nope. It's like literally once a month. And it's almost been like, I also kind of want to put like a poster up that says it's been, 0 1 days or whatever, cross it out and like, nope, it's back to 0, the safety poster. But I did hear through the grapevine that the Control4 had made a driver and they were, ready to go on it. But then MyQ came back, or Chamberlain came back or whatever, and they just wanted money and like lots of money, like a ridiculous amount of money to automate either from from Control 4, from the customers, and Control 4 rightly so at the time. I mean, they just told them to go pound sand. It's like that's the home automation, the home integration stuff. Once you pay for the product, should be free. I mean, I can understand ongoing service things, but like for you, Mike, you put yourself in this hole. Like, this is your fault. You took away the contact closures that would have made everybody happy, and made some like service that you could charge the money for through the app or whatever directly to the consumer, but you don't provide any API for it without these crazy agreements, and you want more money. No, go pound sand. It's going to be the show title. Go pound sand, Mike. You.
There is a little bypass button you can buy on Amazon, I think, for the rolling code. So I think like what kind of stinks is the rolling code thing was like a thing to protect against people being able to like spam your garage door open, because you were basically just able to easily repeat the signal and cause issues and get into your garage door without issue. So the rolling code thing like makes sense as a security standpoint, but it does lock you out from like doing anything, because the old one was just contact closure. The new one, it needs that security thing there. But one of them, there's like a $20 item off of Amazon where it like basically replicates that rolling code, I believe.
Wouldn't the flipper be able to do that? Isn't that one of those products I've seen? Like it's like a little orange product or something.
Yeah, but you gotta do that manually, I think.
I don't know. You may need to like get the code and then it just can repeat or whatever it does what I have to do. I don't know. Like it's dumb. They just need contact closures on the thing for people who actually want to automate their garage doors and call it a day.
That would make too much sense.
Like, no, go back to what it was before. I don't know why anybody hasn't made like, do you remember that thing HomeLink? It's like in every single car on the thing.
I still have it in my car. That's how new my cars are.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's still like, I had a newer Subaru a few years back and it was still on the mirrors there, but it seemed to be in like a lot of cars. And I don't know why someone inventive hasn't like basically taken the HomeLink transmitter and taken the buttons off of it and made like a contact closure, 3 HomeLink transmitter device. You can just plug it inside your house and automate your garage doors open and going that way. Like it seems like that could work and get around this, but maybe HomeLink actually licenses and keeps stuff a little bit, they don't allow for that and that kind of thing. Cause it is kind of like a manufacturer driven product line. Anyway, there's a thought. There's a HomeLink relay closure thing out there that can open and close 3 doors. It'd be great. All right. Well, moving on here. Good news for Google. The big guy comes out on top here for once. A California federal judge has overturned a $32.5 million verdict against Google in the patent dispute against Sonos. The judge ruled that Sonos has improperly connected its patents to claim that its inventions predated Google's devices. And Sonos also plans to appeal this decision here. This particular ruling is part of a larger IP dispute between Sonos and Google, which we've been talking about for ages, it seems like. Sonos previously won a limited import ban on certain Google devices. I know Google's appealed that, but also Google has kind of like turned off a bunch of features on their products to come into compliance for some of these rulings here. So it's interesting. This thing is still kind of making its way through the court. I saw there was another story that just came in late that some of those features are getting turned back on, I guess, for this device. Was it like the one where it combines rooms and that kind of thing? Is that one of the ones?
Yeah, I think it's the multi-room something.
Yeah. We'll put a link to that in our show notes too. It just kind of like came in like right at the last minute here. Yeah. Restored Google Home features for grouping smart speakers are beginning to roll out, quote, immediately across Google devices and the Home app on Android. So that's according to The Verge over there. And it's, I guess this is how fast things can work in software. If you win a court case, they're ready to revert the repo over to activate that and push the code back out that makes this stuff work. So good for consumers, possibly bad for Sonos. It'd be interesting if like Sonos appeals this and it goes to the next judge. I guess it'd be like a 3-judge panel or something. And they say, oh no, this is good. And they give it back. And now Google's got to roll out another firmware update that takes the feature back. It's like, no, you're just teasing you. Don't do that.
Google users are not going to know what to do. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. This is still an ongoing thing. Like I knew it would last quite a while. I mean, I think we're still kind of in the early stages of it, but they just keep going back and forth on who's actually responsible. And just like you said, it's amazing that they're able to push it out so quickly. Like the verdict just came out today. Google is not a very fast company at all.
And it's one of those court cases. The end user wins in this one because they're going to get their features back now. So it's good to see.
I feel like Google probably felt good about how they argued in court and were like, you know what? I think we're going to win this one. Line it up where it's just like a toggle, and we can change that toggle button and roll it out. Especially if the other lawyer, whatever, had a bad day or didn't argue as well or as succinctly as they should be. Like, I probably can bet on winning that next court case. So anyway, it's got to go up to I guess it's going to be appealed. It's going to go to another judge or a panel of judges, and they'll decide if you can group Google devices together if it infringes on this patent. It'll be interesting. Also, at the bottom of the article here, this new article, there is a story from early in the week I missed, but it's I guess Google is asking about Google actually is calling for privacy. I'm sorry, patent reform. Privacy. Google's not calling for anything related to privacy reform. No, Google wants patent reform. So and they're saying that Google's Sonos is actually just wasting time and resources about all these lawsuits. So interesting. We'll put a link to that in the show notes as well. All right, here we got some fun stuff. I guess it's been the Samsung developer conference out there. Samsung's announced that its newest soundbar, the HWQ900C, rolls right off the tongue, is now a SmartThings hub. It supports Zigbee, Thread, and Matter. This addition to Samsung's Hub Everywhere program aims to make it easier for people to get started with the connected home. The company also revealed that more of its existing and new TVs and smart monitors now will have the full hub experience built in and support Matter. Yay! Let's see. Samsung's multi-hub network is now live, allowing users to run multiple hubs in their homes concurrently for greater speed and reliability. And Samsung also launched a new developer portal and smart home APIs, as well as showcasing new integrations with the car devices and the upcoming map-based SmartThings user interface for smartphones. All good stuff. I keep hearing about this Samsung developer conference, and people are like, "Are you going to that?" And I'm like, I don't really play in this space, but it let's just say, like, from a development standpoint, Samsung smart things, and particularly, like, they really look like they have fun stuff to play with over there. Kind of wants me to, like, part of me wants to get involved with it, and then part of me is like, no, I don't need another thing like to get a headache with. But I really do like the multi-hub network thing. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, they're just going to throw hubs in everything now. You're going to see, TVs, their phones, everything, at some point. And yeah, I know how you feel. Samsung's very active right now, and they're doing a lot, and they're doing a lot fast. And you kind of get like the FOMO. You want to get involved in it, but at the same time, it's like, I don't want to take on another project or something like that. So I'll just keep an eye on it. I long time ago, I had a SmartThings hub, and I moved on from it, and I just got cut it. I can't have any, I can't go back to her.
Yeah,
and you bought an LG TV, so you're not even in the ecosystem anymore.
Yeah.
Going further and further away.
Yeah.
Now, Samsung products I always like Samsung products, like the hardware and stuff like that, but where it always falls short for me is the software. Especially like the soundbars. I feel like all the soundbars, even the LG ones and some of the other cheaper ones like Vizio, like they're always just the pain to use. And so whenever I hear them talk about like adding Matter or other things to the soundbar, it just makes me worried, because somebody at one point is going to make me want to make me set this thing up, and it's going to take forever because it's just, you're going to have to go through all the steps to get it added. And it probably won't be a problem after a long period of time, but it's just not looking forward to that day.
Well, so at least some new, some neat features that are coming into SmartThings. So if you're in that ecosystem, look forward to some nice stuff, and soundbars with hubs that may or may not work.
Yeah, pretty soon you're going to have a hub, and even if you don't want one, it's just going to be in every product you have. It's like, oh, well, now you have a hub. Congratulations.
I mean, it's smart. They sell a lot of other products, right? They sell, it's a multifaceted organization, like they sell lots of stuff. And if they can put smart hubs in their refrigerators or microwaves, they may as well do it.
I'm up to 3 Matter networks in my house right now. So, I can add more.
Oh, you and your Matter networks. All right. Well,
your next car is going to have a Matter hub.
Matter network in it. Yeah. All right. Here's
Actually, that might not be a bad idea. That way you can do little smart sensors and stuff. You can have like a localized security system for your car.
Man explodes gas tank with homemade gas sensor. Yeah.
Gas flushing device.
Yeah. It was just a switch bot shoved in a gas tank for some reason. I have no idea why I did it. All right. Nanoleaf today announced the upcoming launch of the Nanoleaf Smart Holiday String Lights, which are able to integrate with Matter-compatible smart home platforms like HomeKit. The two 10-meter light strands include 250 addressable LEDs, can be set to over 16 million colors and multiple shades of white, range from 2700 to 6500 Kelvin. IP44 rating, I probably wouldn't use those outside. And the 250 lumen lights will be able to be used indoors or outdoors. No, mostly indoors, I think. The lights can be controlled with the Nanoleaf app, with the Home app, or with Siri voice commands. And there's with the Nanoleaf app, not with anything HomeKit related, you get access to customizable color palettes and light animations, plus the option to sync with music that's playing. So that's pretty cool. This is basically Nanoleaf's version of Twinkly, right?
Let's see. I'm trying to compare it to the one I have. So I only have one set of smart lights right now, and it's the Twinkly 600 LED count. And I think I'm trying to see what the total distance on the one I have now, because the new one from Nanoleaf is 20 meters, so roughly 60 feet. I feel like that's a pretty good distance for $120. But I don't see how many LEDs and how long my current one is.
Well, the ones that I have, I bought the Twinkly. They're 250 LEDs. They're the special edition. I have no idea what that means. But they were $139. Oh, I think the special edition had a white light, a warm white light inside of it, if you wanted to use that. So it's 65 feet, 250 LEDs, and that one, I guess, retailed at $139 at some point.
So basically the same price then.
Yep, basically the same price. Mostly the same features too.
Yeah. Well, you can get $20 off with a early bird coupon. So if you're looking to add some holiday lights to the list, then it might not be a bad one.
Yeah. I wonder if they did the awful thing that, the awful thing that Twinkly does and run like, you have 250 lights, but one goes one way, one goes the other way.
Yeah, that's so annoying.
Yeah.
And I don't like that you can't chain them together. Like, I understand why, because of the power supply and all that stuff. But I feel like you should at least be able to chain it together one time. So you basically have to buy, well, at least what I did is I just bought a super long one because I'd rather have too much than come short.
Yeah.
And so now I just have, and just like you said, it splits off from the middle. So now I have to figure out how to like take it to where it needs to go instead of just wrapping it around like I normally do.
Yeah, I had to buy two. There was no way around it. But at least to Twinkly's credit, they make it easy to. I had one in there, and the first year it was like that's not enough. And then so like the next year, I did the Amazon thing and waited for the price to go down, and bought them that way. But yeah, I don't see. I'm trying to find the manual on this, and I thought I saw it, but it didn't download it. Yeah, the manual is not here. It's like, here's the FAQ and manual, and it's like, it's not there.
The general information about the Nanoleaf one says it's 2 connected strings of 10 meters.
So there you go.
So it's just 2 different ones that they connected together. But does that mean that I can connect them together? Probably not.
Probably not. And Twinkly actually does something really weird. If you know anything about LED lights and these like RGB lights, they run on 2 strands, not 3. Figure that one out, because it's a head scratcher. Usually you have to have data line positive and negative, and somehow they have done it. I think somebody figured it out, but you can go look it up. It's quite fascinating, but smarter than I can relay back to you guys. Speaking of being smarter than I can relay things, I guess Matter, there's a rumor that Matter 2.0 is coming. Of course Matter 2.0 is coming. There's a Twitter account or an X account, whatever we want to call this thing now, called Does It Matter? At Does IoT Matter, which is kind of funny. And it says, Matter 1.2 coming soon, ? And another original tweet from our friend Jimmy, putting some Matter slides from Samsung SDC session about what's going on with Matter and their timelines and everything. So check all that stuff out. It's kind of cool. If you go over to the actual Matter code, though, you can actually see that they are getting close. Over at the GitHub account, if you go to their timelines, they've got 97 or 95% complete on their stuff for Matter 1.2, and they've got 7 open issues that they would like to close before they release. So I think they're pretty close.
It's looking good. And it looks like some of the new features they're going to be adding is like support for robot vacuums, cameras, energy management, which was a big thing, when Matter originally came out. They're going to be adding it now. Air quality control, smoke detection, and there's a few more, but it's looking like they're moving along.
Yeah, this is good to see. I feel like some of this stuff should have been included originally, like at least door locks and HVAC controls. That's kind of weird to me, but it's good to see that there's still progress on this and they keep updating things. It's gonna keep growing, and we kind of knew it going into it that wouldn't have everything from the beginning. So
I like that you could just go over to this, the GitHub account, look at the code, see what they're all working on. I can look up to Matter 1.5. and tell you that, they don't have any open issues. Never mind. I can go to Matter 1.4. Oh, no, they have one open issue in there of one thing they want to do, which is OTA enhancements, where it looks like this is for supporting better communication or something, but they've punted this out to 1.4. So I guess there's probably stuff that's going to support it leading up to 1.4. But you can go in here and you can see kind of like what is what they're doing, what they're talking about if you understand any of this stuff. That's kind of cool.
Not me. I don't understand it. So I'll take your word for it, Seth.
Nah, well, what I understand is I'm looking at a graph here that says 95% complete, 134 closed issues, 7 open. And that means it was last updated 4 days ago. I think Matter 1.2 is imminent. So we may have a Matter 1.2 story as soon as they wrap up these issues. Yeah. Which takes no time at all.
I wonder what the timeline is, though, once they wrap it up to, it start to roll out to the various ecosystems, right? Like,
yeah,
just because they finished their piece, now you got to wait on Amazon, you got to wait on Google, you probably won't get it until next year's iOS release too, right? So it's going to take a long time.
Maybe. I am curious as to how long it does take to roll that kind of stuff out when you get new features and new. So if they implemented vacuums, right, and the integration for that, yeah, you might have to wait for Apple to draw a nice little pretty interface for a robot vacuum, right? They're gonna do that. So I think yes, we may have to wait some time before we start seeing this actually appear, but I don't know. It's good they're moving it forward. It's good they're adding more devices in, and a lot of people have robot vacuums, so maybe it'll be important enough for Apple to draw a nice pretty picture of a robot vacuum. Put it in there. All right, let's move on here. All the links and topics we discussed tonight can be found over on our show notes over at HomeTech.fm/455. We got a pick of the week this week. This is actually really cool. I think we've talked about a dial thing in the past, but this company M5 has launched a new M5 dial, which is basically a smart rotary control device with a color touchscreen display. I don't think this is as fancy as the one we saw before with the feedback on it, but I didn't watch the video. Gavin, did you check this out, or is this TJ? I think TJ put this on.
Yeah, I found this. I forget where it came from, Hackaday or something like that. It looks really nice, and the price is right. I think it was like $35.
Yeah.
It's got a color screen on it. It's got a dial on there. It's got Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, pretty much a lot of stuff you need just to make it whatever you want, and an NFC reader, so you can make it look a little badge reader or something like that.
Yeah, it looks great. I remember we saw this video. I think Gavin, you brought in that had something similar to this. Now this looks a lot more industrial.
I think like Acura has one, and then what's that company we saw at CD at Gavin, like Yeelight or something?
I had that on my notes to bring up, but yeah, we saw something at CEDIA from Yeelight, and they had actually a few touchscreens that were really nice looking.
Yeah,
but the video, Seth, you're talking about was a while back. It was somebody making it himself.
Yeah,
and it was kind of like a proof of concept. Hey, look what I made, and he actually broke down the dial a lot better than this, where he had a lot of configuration options for, snapping of the dial or like springing back of the dial and stuff like that. Well, it was really cool.
That's what I'm talking about. I don't think for $35 this has that built in.
Yeah.
But that was what's really cool about that one, is that it had that feedback mechanism.
Yes.
And could like force your hand to feel that there's a bump or a tick or something that you're clicking over. That's really cool. I think this one is just the movable ring that rotates around the encoder.
Yeah, it was fine price.
For $35, I don't think it's going to be that advanced.
Yeah.
But it's still really cool that you can get that for this price.
And it's got ESP32 built in, I guess. So you can run quite a bit on this if you're doing little smart home projects or that kind of thing.
I mean, this would be kind of nice for like a thermostat or something. Like you can just put this in a remote area, so you have a nice little thermostat remotely. Or if you have like a room with color LEDs, maybe you can easily adjust that.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of different options. Music, maybe.
And it has Bluetooth built in. So I wonder if you could tie this in with ESP presence at some point, hopefully, so you could detect people in the room too, right?
Yep.
Well, I don't need any other projects, or else I'd be buying one. So.
Yeah. I don't think this isn't going to work on my vent hood. So. It's not going to be buying that.
That'd be hilarious. You're like, all right, honey, I got it working. Look at the new dial.
Just rotate the dial till it says turn light on, and then rotate it back. Yeah.
How do I turn it off? Oh, you actually can't.
Yeah, I didn't really implement that yet. Sorry.
That's 1.2 version.
I'll add a bug report in an issue. Yeah, we'll put it on a milestone for the 1.2 release, right? All right. Well, if you have any feedback, questions, comments, pics of the week, or great ideas for a show, give us a shout. Our email address is feedback@HomeTech.fm, or you can visit HomeTech.fm/feedback and fill out the online form. All right. Project updates. I did something. I'm going to save it till later because I think Gavin did it too. So we'll talk about that together. And then TJ, you've been a plumber, a master plumber, this
new
week.
profession now. So.
Professional. Yeah.
I'm done with electronics. I'm just going to go plumbing now, as long as it's only using quick connect connectors. So
a little shark bite thing.
Those things are great. Yeah, those things are great. Now, so I've been doing a little bit of plumbing, as Seth hinted towards. So we have some old spigots, faucets, or whatever they call those things on the outside of the house, and they all leak a little bit. They're not like ridiculous, and I kind of waited until I did some other things to the house in order to get those done. But I decided this past week I'd go ahead and just replace those. And one of the things I wanted to address whenever I did it is they didn't actually have shut-off valves installed. They were in the northern clients. Seth wouldn't know this, but in the northern climates, you can buy frost-proof or freeze-proof spigots. And instead of the water coming outside, the actual little shut-off thing inside the spigot is inside the house. And so I have like an 8-inch one. And so that way, whenever the actual valve is off, the water doesn't go outside. In a normal one, like the water goes all the way to like the valve. And so it just extends it to the inside of the house. And so I already had those. That wasn't a big deal. But I wanted to get some shut-off valves installed because I knew at some point I'd have to replace the faucets again, right? And what are you making that face for? So
I'm searching for the frost-proof.
Oh, here,
spigot.
let me.
So yeah, it's just got a longer thing. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Because that's the thing that you have to worry about in the northern climates is your pipes freezing.
Right. You're letting me down with
you
your
don't want
plumbing terminology there, TJ.
Why?
From a master plumber like yourself, I expect you to use real terms, not thingies and.
Yeah, what's that one they call the what else they call a spigot?
Tap?
Spout?
No, they got like a silcock.
Oh,
so I'll start calling it a silcock if you want.
Sounds better.
I know that's a little more professional.
Yeah, and it will get the podcast banned.
Yeah. This is a family show.
No, but so I wanted to get a shutoff valve installed. I got 2 spigots, and I decided to install a shutoff valve. And I've never done plumbing before outside of like changing like a sink, faucet, which isn't too bad. But I was like actually cutting the copper pipes of the house, which made me a little nervous because, you can only go so far until you like mess up a lot more things. But they have these super sweet quick connect connectors now, which if a legit plumber actually sees you using this, they'll probably slap you because it's like not the official thing, right? It's like the homeowner way of doing things or the cheap contractor way of doing things. But they worked great. You basically just like cut the pipe, you push the connector on, and it's good to go. Like you don't have to do any soldering or taping or anything like that. And, if you read online forums, everybody says that it's going to leak in 5 years and your whole house is going to be ruined. Let's hope that doesn't happen. But they made it super easy, and now I have shutoff valves installed. And installed the new outdoor faucets. Those look great. A little ugly. We'll post some pictures in the show notes if we feel like losing a couple listeners. It's not the prettiest thing in the world right now, but it works. But one of the things I wanted to do when I installed the outdoor faucets and the shutoff valves is that the backyard faucet is like behind our kitchen cabinet. And so I have to take off a piece of drywall and like basically climb into the cabinet in order to work on the plumbing. And I wanted the option to like remotely shut off the valve in case I wanted to for whatever reason. And so I bought a $40 Zigbee water shutoff valve off Amazon, and I got it installed and it works. You can tell it's cheap. It's not as nice as like the Zeus Titan thing that's like $190 or the Moen Flow, which is like $500. But it'll do its job. Like the 2 times a year, I might actually use it.
You're very trusting. That's all I'm thinking. That's all.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. It's very on there very loosely too because there's not really a good way to like attach. So like it probably will break at some point. So I'll probably just remove it, to be honest.
Just put like one of your water sensors under it.
Yeah.
There is, and that's where automation comes into this, Seth. Because if you've ever not done plumbing before, one of the things you're worried about is water leaking everywhere, right? And so one of the things I did as soon as I cut into the pipe and I got all the water cleaned up, because you always spill a little bit of water, is I put a water leak sensor underneath there, and I programmed it to send me an automation in case it detects water. And knock on wood, so far nothing. So just a regular good old plumber over here,
He's at it. That's pretty good. I hate plumbing.
Yeah.
I genuinely, like, it's one of those things like, I've got everything I need, and like I know that it's just going to be 3 or 4 more trips to Home Depot before I actually finish it.
Well, I'm glad I live down the street from a Menards, because whenever I do a project, it's 5 trips to Menards. So it takes me like 5 minutes to get there. I go there so often now that whenever I get in the car, my phone pops up a notification and it's like 5 or 10 minutes to Menards. I'm like, I'm trying to go to work. Phone, leave me alone.
It's so bad I only do projects during Home Depot hours, just because I know they are open.
Yeah, that would be the smart thing to do. I unfortunately don't start them in time, and then I'm like, oh, I need to go into Home Depot, and they may be closed today or at this time today. So,
but I use several pieces of automation for this, right? And so I got the water leak sensors, and I was like, that's kind of nice. But then I forgot that I have Flume installed, and Flume, it'll actually tell you if you have an active leak. So it'll tell you like your usage broken down by like 5 or 10 minutes, I think it is. And so that way I can actually see while I'm gone and make sure there's no actual water running, which is like super nice, because I was kind of worried about that. We're going on to Florida actually later this week. And so like one of my worst nightmares is like we get on the plane and I suddenly get a water leak notification. So I wanted to do it like a week or so before we actually went to Florida. That way I can make sure everything was all right. So
sometimes it's nice not to get those notifications, because why ruin your vacation?
That's what I'm saying.
Just find out when you get
back home that the house is flooded. But you're going to be in Florida. The house is flooded. Now you're going to be stressing and you ruin your whole vacation. Just turn off notifications.
Everything's been all right, but I might just turn the water off when we leave. So
you trust your plumbing that much?
No, I'm just a nervous Nelly, I think they call it. I'm just nervous all the time when I do plumbing.
I'm still captivated by the the freezing of pipes, considering all my pipes are actually run the outside of my house. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, you would not last one winter here. It doesn't really snow that much here, but it gets very cold. So.
Yeah. Not supposed to get that cold. I mean, it's supposed to be a cold winter, actually, from what they're saying.
Yeah, we're supposed to have a bad one.
Florida is going to have a cold winter. So, yeah, it'll be in the 70s or something.
And then one more update for the plumbing. I've been one of the things that spurred me replacing the faucets was I had the lawn aerated and seeded, and so I needed a way to like water it because I'm lazy. I'm not going to go out there every single day and water it. I mean, why do that when you have technology, right? And so I was like, well, I have the smart water valve that I can use, and I was like, I really don't want to use that unless I have to because as we discussed earlier, it's kind of janky. And it might just like break everything and make it worse, which I don't want to do. And so I got to looking for another technology solution, and I found these hose timers. And Reikio has one. I think it's like $100.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I don't want to really be locked into somebody's ecosystem. And so I found a much cheaper option. I think it was around $40, where it looks very similar. It's a lot bulkier as far as it looks. And it works with Home Assistant if you do the Zigbee to MQTT. Integration, like it'll work with that, but it doesn't work with like native Zigbee because that's the nature of Zigbee, unfortunately. So you have to use the Smart Life app, which I'm using right now, but the hardware works actually really good. We'll post a photo of that. I've got 2 of them right now that I use to control like the master faucet, and then I have like a little splitter that splits it into 4 different ones, and so that way like eventually I'll be able to water different parts of the lawn and stuff like that. But not a bad little device for $40. So if you're looking for a hose timer and you're handy with Home Assistant, this is going to be a great addition for you.
It's called a Smart Life Smart Faucet.
Let's see what it's actually called. And it's like there's a general one you can buy on like AliExpress. This one is specifically from Rainseer, but it's supposedly available with Zigbee to MQTT. I haven't got that set up with it yet. When I do, though, I think it'll be pretty nice to have it. And this thing works great. I have 2 of them right now that I'm using, and they both respond every single time. And they just like the app has a built-in timer for it as well.
Yeah.
And that part works pretty good. So I can just set it for whatever I want to water it for, and it just turns on and off automatically for me.
I remember when we first started this show, Jason and I were talking about me filling the pool, and I would notice that the pool had been filled for too long and it was overflowing in the backyard. And I was always like, I need like a smart thing. And I was like, well, I could probably just get by with I think at the time they were like $30 just regular old timer. Like it was like one of the wind up timers, like an egg timer type thing on the thing. I was like, I think I can just get by with that. And I never bought one. And when we sold the house, I don't have a pool anymore, but this thing is like $41. Like it would have been smart and prevented me from overwatering the pool, which I did quite often. It was definitely a flooded backyard from time to time.
Yeah, and I was definitely worried about the quality of it, but I left it on overnight. Like I just left the faucet on with this thing connected and off. And it held water for the past couple nights. So it's sturdy enough for at least a couple nights use.
Cool. So you're going to use, and you said you're going to use those for maybe sprinkler system type things.
Yeah, I'm using it right now to water the back lawn, but I might use them next year because we're going to do some more gardening next year. Mm-hmm. So I'll use it for irrigation of the yard or something like that.
Cool. Well, Gavin, before I let you talk about stuff and what you're doing, let's talk about our project that we did called Birdcage. Yeah. Which I was complaining about the lousy pricing on Raspberry Pi 4s, I think, or and not being able to find one because I wanted to do this little stupid bird project, which I think is called BirdNet. BirdNet Pi. So I guess somebody has made this. It's actually really nice. It's a BirdNet thing, and I guess BirdNet is a framework developed by, I don't know, some school somewhere, and they basically took all of the recordings from birds and they piped them into like a AI thing, and you basically can pull out from that like based on a sound that may be playing somewhere, it will identify and tell you what the likelihood of what bird you're listening to is. And so somebody made this like all-in-one tool called BirdNet Pi, and you can load it on a Raspberry Pi. But I could never get one that would be able to run the little AI engine thing because pandemic. You have to have a Raspberry Pi 4B, Pi 400, Pi 3B Plus, or some other stuff. I think I had the 3B Plus with, you had to have a particular version of their Raspberry OS running on it. Anyway, Gavin was like, making all this noise last week about how he doesn't like running Raspberry Pis because he's just got this big Docker thing he can do. And I'm like, you know what? I have a Docker thing too, Gavin. And I was like, somebody out there has got to have gone and taken this and said, this is a great idea, but I want to run it on Docker. And so I started looking around, and there's a thing called Birdcage, and Birdcage is exactly this. It has all the stuff built onto it, and I can go into my Birdcage now, and I can see what little birds have been singing around my house. Oh, and the coolest thing is, I guess this is like a new thing they weren't doing before. You used to have to set a little microphone out there for things to run off of. No, they're smart enough. You can take the RSTP stream off your cameras, and there's audio on that, and you can listen to that. It records it, and it says, there a bird singing? Yes, there's a beautiful little bird singing. I'm going to tell you what that is. And it identifies for you, and it's like, oh, you've got a blue jay chirping around. He's having fun. Laugh kookaburra. There it is. I'm so excited I have this, and I was showing my daughter. I showed my wife. She just rolled her eyes. She's like, she had choice words in what she called me there, but like, I really think this is cool. This is awesome. And I know, Gavin, I think I said I got it done on Docker, and you're like, yes, what is it? I'll do it too, because I want to know what birds are around my house. And did you end up installing it?
Yeah, I installed it. It took me like half an hour, did a Docker compose, was up and running. It wasn't picking up. I don't know if I just don't have any birds in my area or what's going on, but all it ever detected were what it kept saying, rock pigeons. I don't know what a rock pigeon is, but it just kept picking up.
There is a setting where you have to set your
location.
Yeah,
Yep, I said all that, and I think the rock pigeon was being picked up by like when a helicopter flew over or something like that. Because I listened to the samples and I was like, oh, that's a car driving by, or it was a helicopter going by, but all it ever said was rock pigeon. I didn't get no blue jays or hummingbirds or anything like that. Oh. It didn't even identify my dog barking. It's just rock pigeons.
By far, my most active bird is the northern mockingbird, which of course makes sense because they're all over here. They're infested. I have a red-shouldered hawk and a blue jay and a red-bellied woodpecker that is flying around doing things, usually in the morning and late in the afternoons. So, like,
I saw a red bird sitting on my fence while I was recording, and nope, it didn't even pick that up. So I just gave up. It doesn't
see them. It has to hear them. They have to say something.
I could hear it. They have to say something. I could hear it singing. It was chirping away, singing its morning song, but no, rock pigeon.
And it gives you like these little spectrograph things where it's gone through and it identifies, like, I'll send a...
Could have been the microphones in my camera just aren't as good as yours. You have the Unify cameras?
Yeah, I had the Unify camera set up.
Yeah.
And I used one in the front yard and one in the backyard and figured that would be enough. So I have two streams coming into this thing. I could put more on. I listened to one of them on the side of my house. It was mostly the air conditioning noise. So I was like, this probably isn't the best one to use. But the one in the front far side of the house, there's nothing over there. And then the one in the backside just kind of like opens up to our backyard and down into the creek ditch thing we have. So those two seem like that's what I should use. And I don't know, there's no cars in the backyard. You know, it's got a creek, another big yard on the other side. So it's just like an extended backyard. So there's plenty of places for birds to go back there and frolic and sing. And now I know what they're doing. I know what time they're doing it. And I have little recordings. I have little recordings of them doing it. It's so great. This is amazing.
So now with that information, do you know what kind of bird food you're going to put out now for them?
I'm not putting any bird food out. No, they're on their own.
Oh.
I'm not going to do that.
You just want to know what birds are in your yard, right?
Yeah, okay. I just want to know what birds are singing in there. I've seen this project for like 2 years now, and I'm like, I gotta do this. And I bought a little like external microphone, a waterproof microphone, and I bought the little case that the Raspberry Pi was going to live in. And now I don't need any of that. I already had the stuff. I already had everything I needed. I just needed the Docker guy to come along, the Docker Santa, and come give me this beautiful piece of stuff. And now I've got these two streams coming in. I've got, let's see, I'm trying to see 29,000 successful iterations on each one of these streams. So it is going through and recording this stuff and checking it. And I know how many birds I have.
I'm so happy for you.
It's like Pokemon. You got to catch them all.
Here this week, I can do a weekly report: 869 detections and 18 unique species. And the first one is the blue jay at 255, which I'm pretty sure that's the mockingbird, because the mockingbird sounds like a lot of other birds. I think it's been fooling him. I don't think that we have a Carolina wren here. I could be wrong, but it says we have Carolina wrens. But I don't know. If I play that back, it sounds like a mockingbird to me. So all fun. It does keep the files, right? It keeps the audio files, and I probably need to keep an eye on that to make sure it doesn't fill up whatever cache drive I stuck it on.
There's a cleanup setting, but make sure you set the cleanup on there, because you'll fill up your drive quickly.
Well, I did look at it. They are using, I think it was MP3s or something. They were very small files, and they're not very long. They're like a few seconds long. And I had looked through the code before. What I did find was interesting. Like, it's smart enough to know if it detects a human talking, it'll kick that clip out. Even if there's a bird speaking, it will not record people talking. So I thought that was actually pretty cool. It's like some privacy stuff built into it. Anyway, that's my story. I'm excited. I've finally, after 2 years, got these birds talking to my computer, and we're going to start counting birds. See how many birds I have flying around this house. This is the most ridiculous project I think ever, but you know what? I've done it. So there we go.
It's the most useless project ever, I think, too.
At least it's fun. It's fun, useless.
He's entertained.
This is definitely a fun project. So yeah. So Gavin, since you did this, and you don't really care, evidently, that you have these rock doves or whatever flying around your house.
Rock pigeons.
Rock pigeons, yeah.
Yep.
What have you been up to?
No, this week was a week of Z-Wave stuff, but I like to keep up to date whenever there's an update in my Home Assistant. As Seth turns around now to click on the update button.
That's red over there.
Yeah. I usually click update right away, but in the latest set of updates, this is more of a PSA. But the Z-Wave JS released some updates, 2.1 updates and stuff, and it kind of hosed my Z-Wave network. Things were just hanging. It was giving me a lot of problems. Then, you jumped on Google, and I found a number of other people complaining about the same thing, and the solution was to downgrade and wait. Right. So it was very specific. If you were using a 500 series controller and you updated to the latest Z-Wave JS, it could cause some problems. So this has kind of pushed me to move all my devices over to Z-Wave 800. So I ordered a Z-Wave 800 controller. And in the next week or so, we will find out next week how that goes. I'll be migrating all my devices over. Some people say I could do a backup and restore. Some people say you have to go through and re-add them all, which I really don't want to do.
Ooh, that's a lot.
Yeah, in my house, that's going to be a lot. So we will see. But can you imagine, like, if this was Matter and I had to go and re-add them all and scan the little Matter codes and stuff like that? At least with the Z-Wave, I triple press on the buttons and, you exclude, include. It would be a bigger mess if it was Matter. So I will see. The next show, I should have some updates on that when the controller comes in. But that's my PSA about the Z-Wave. The other thing I ran across this week was somebody on Mastodon posted an article and links to code on a software Matter solution. So basically, they developed a library that they could use to connect pretty much anything you want via software to the Matter network. I mean, I'm having trouble trying to figure out what I want to use this for, because everything idea I come up with, I can think of a solution or a way to do it through Home Assistant. And once it's in the Home Assistant, I can expose it pretty much to every ecosystem out there. But it's a really cool thing to see. Like, you could have something running on your server that uses this, and now all of a sudden, one of your server VMs is now just a sensor in HomeKit, for example, right? So if it ever goes down, you can have automations kick off, things like that, right? So just, we'll link to that in the show notes, but I just thought that was really cool that somebody developed a library to make like a software Matter linking solution. And I'd love to see if anyone has ideas. What would you do with something like this?
That does sound pretty interesting. Like, there's got to be... You could use it to make some kind of like a bridge between devices, I guess. Like, if you had an unsupported ecosystem that wasn't like on Matter already, you could use it to bridge that out. I don't know. That sounds interesting.
I just think it would be nice if, like, you know, certain software started building something like this in. Like, if say Kodi had it built directly into the code. Now your Kodi are Matter compatible devices, and you can control Kodi through, you know, whatever ecosystem you want. That would be kind of cool, right there. You know, like
right.
There are some solutions out there I could think of, but like I said, I find other ways to do this already. Once you have Home Assistant, you just go through Home Assistant. Like, I can't think of anything that I would do without, you know, that I couldn't do today.
Right. Yeah. I guess if you were starting off fresh and didn't have all that set up through Home Assistant, it'd be one way of doing it. But yeah, they've already developed their way of integrating that way. So why upset? You know, why do that?
But for the cool factor, I thought this was really cool. It looked like a very simple library too, very slimmed down, easy to implement if you're a coder. And I will be playing with it once I figure out what I would want to do with it.
Yeah, it may help with like maybe troubleshooting or something. I don't know. It will be interesting to find out. Somebody's going to have a good use case for it. And the fact that it's in like Node.js and like it's really easy to use, like really, like you said, really easy to install and get it up and going.
Yeah, I was thinking you could tie Birdcage into it, but then Birdcage, you can tie that into Home Assistant. So, you know, when a blue jay gets detected in your yard, you can, you know, send yourself a notification. Hey, there's a blue jay out front, you know?
I can already do that.
Yeah, I know. But Birdcage has MQTT built in, so you could tie it into Home Assistant. So, yeah. See, every time I try and think of something, it's like we can already do that without Matter.
Yeah. It's interesting. I don't know.
So I just realized on his article that he has all his mentions on it, and I'm in the list of mentions.
Yay!
I'm famous. All right,
you're famous.
You matter now, Gavin. I think that's what it means.
Feels good.
You've made it.
You can turn yourself into a Matter device.
Only downhill from here. I'm looking down at you guys, waiting on you to reach this peak.
I think I'll die before I get there. So just go ahead without me.
All right, cool. It's cold up here.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to go up there.
All right. Well, I think that's probably going to wrap up the week here. We do want to give a big thank you for everyone who supports the show, but especially those who are able to financially support the show through our Patreon page. If you don't know about the Patreon page, head on over to HomeTech.fm/support to learn how you can support HomeTech for as little as $1 a month. Any pledge over $5 a month gets you a big shout out here on the show. But every single pledge gets you an invite to our private Slack chat, the hub, where you can join in. It looked like there's a lot of installation stuff going on. Not just TJ is doing projects. Friend of the show here, was it Morton? Was putting some speakers in, looked like this morning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He put in a controller for a Sonos speaker, I think, in his kitchen. Owen's been posting project updates on a theater room he's been working on. I love seeing when people are doing projects and the steps along the way. Sometimes when you can see what they do behind the walls, it makes a lot more sense. I find that interesting. Many
dog pictures, I guess. I missed these, but now I'm having fun looking at them. There we go. Lots of dog pictures. Yay! It's fun. The hub's great. And yeah, Owen's pictures of those theaters are pretty amazing because it's always good to see behind the scenes how the soup gets made.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you want to help the show but can't support financially, totally understand. We just appreciate a 5-star review on iTunes or a positive rating in the podcast app of your choice. It really helps people find the show. And with that, that's going to wrap up another week of Home Tech. Everybody have a great weekend, and we will see you next week.
Take care.
Till next time.
It's amazing how we have nothing to talk about, but an hour and 10 minutes later,
hey, we find stuff to talk about.
Oh, more underwear's on sale. Go Prime Day.
Ooh.
Underwear and socks. That's all I sign up for now.